When you think of Picasso, what comes to mind? A genius, right? A force of nature. But what if I told you his real genius wasn't what he created, but what he was willing to destroy? Picasso himself said it best: art is a lie that makes us realize truth. I mean, think about that for a second. It's kind of the key to unlocking his entire career. His whole philosophy was that to get to the real truth, you had to completely break reality apart. And boy, did he spend his life doing just that. Okay, so just look at this. On the left, you've got this charcoal drawing from 1894. It's perfect. I mean, technically flawless, right? Something you'd expect from a Renaissance master. Now look to the right. Just 16 years later. It's fragmented, it's weird, it's kind of jarring. And the wild part? The exact same guy painted both. So, what happened? How does one person become two completely different artists? That's the big question we're going to tackle. It's a story about a guy who was so good, he had to forget everything he knew just to find his real voice. So where do we even start? Well, his story doesn't begin like most artists, struggling in a dusty attic. Nope. Picasso was an honest-to-goodness child prodigy. Seriously, he was so good, so young, that his biggest problem wasn't figuring out how to paint, but how to unlearn it. Just check out this timeline. It's wild. At 13, he was already better than his dad, who was an art teacher. The story goes his father just handed him his brushes and basically said, "I'm done." A year later, at 14, he takes the entrance exam for a top art school. An exam that was supposed to take a month, he finished it in a single day. And by 16, he'd already dropped out of Spain's best art academy because, get this, he was bored. He'd mastered the entire rulebook before he was even old enough to vote. And listen to this. This is Picasso in his own words. He said his perfect drawings frightened him. He had all the technical skill in the world, the precision of a master, but he felt he was missing that clumsiness of a child, that raw creativity. Can you imagine? He was literally a prisoner of his own talent. He knew he had to escape. So how do you rebel when you're already a master? Well, his first big move wasn't about technique. It was about something much deeper. He stopped painting what he could see and started painting what he could feel. And what he was feeling was grief. In 1901, his best friend, Carlos Casagemas, took his own life. It absolutely devastated Picasso. It plunged him into this deep, dark place, and his art went right there with him. He later said, "I began to paint in blue when I realized Casagemas had died." And that's exactly what happened. For 3 solid years, everything was blue. He started painting the people on the fringes of society, the poor, the lonely, the forgotten. Take a look at this piece, The Tragedy. It just radiates sadness, doesn't it? The figures are stretched out, almost ghostly. They're huddled together, but they also seem completely alone in their grief. And see their bare feet? A really simple, powerful symbol of their poverty. This was a huge shift. For the first time, Picasso wasn't just painting a scene, he was painting an emotion. He was showing us what suffering feels like. But then, just as suddenly as all the blue appeared, it started to fade away. Picasso's life started looking up a bit. He fell in love, and you can see it on the canvas. His colors warmed up into what we now call his rose period. And the subjects changed too. He went from painting beggars to painting circus performers, acrobats, clowns. The mood went from that really raw despair to something more like a gentle sadness, a bit of romance mixed in. And when you put them side by side like this, the difference is just staggering. On the left, you've got that cold, lonely feeling of the blue period. But on the right, in the family of saltimbanques, there's a change. Sure, there's still outsiders, there's still a hint of sadness, but there's a warmth there now, a quiet dignity that just wasn't there before. He was changing, he was evolving, but his biggest revolution was still just around the corner. Okay, so he'd conquered realism. He'd conquered emotion. What's next? Well, Picasso decided to take on an even bigger opponent, reality itself. And what he did next? It wasn't just a new style. It was a complete and total break with basically 500 years of art history. The year is 1907. Picasso has been locked away, working on something huge. And when he finally shows it, it's so radical, so absolutely shocking that his own friends, his biggest supporters, they were horrified. They seriously thought he'd lost his mind. But he hadn't gone mad. He just invented the future. And here it is. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. I mean, wow. It's not pretty, is it? It's aggressive. It's in your face. The bodies are all sharp angles, like broken glass. The faces look like masks, which was no accident. He was deeply inspired by the raw, powerful forms of ancient Iberian and African art he'd been looking at. He wasn't painting beauty here. He was painting power. This was the moment Cubism was born. So what exactly is Cubism? Well, it's about breaking all the old rules. Rule number 1, get rid of a single viewpoint. Traditional art is like looking through a window. Cubism is like walking all the way around an object. Rule 2, smash that object into a bunch of geometric shapes. And Rule 3, glue all those pieces back together on the canvas, showing every side all at the same time. You get the front, the side, the back, everything, all at once. You know, Picasso had a great way of explaining it. He said, I painted a profile nose into a frontal view of a face. I just had to depict it sideways so that I could call it nose. It's brilliant, right? He's not just painting what he sees in a single instant. He's painting what he knows is there. He knows a face has a front and a side, so he shows you both. So with Cubism, Picasso didn't just give us a new art style. He gave us a completely new way of looking at the world, and that's where he really cemented his legacy. And that really brings us to the core of it all. The real genius of Picasso wasn't the Blue Period or the Rose Period or even Cubism. It was the fact that he was always reinventing himself. As soon as he got comfortable, as soon as he mastered something, he would just tear it all down and start over. He put it perfectly himself. I can never be tied down, and that is why I have no style. Think about that. For most artists, finding their style is the ultimate goal. For Picasso, it was a prison. His style was change. So what did he leave us with? The big takeaways. Well, for one, he showed artists that a painting doesn't have to be a perfect copy of reality. He also proved that one artist can have many voices, many styles. He completely blew up our idea of what a painting is supposed to be. And maybe most importantly, he showed us that sometimes to create something new, you have to destroy something old. And after all of that, after all the complexity and the broken pieces and the emotional drama, he could also do this, a face, captured in just a few simple, perfect lines. It's a great reminder that his goal wasn't just to be complicated for the sake of it. It was about finding the most direct, most powerful way to say something, whether that took 1,000 strokes of paint or just one. So that brings us full circle, back to our puzzle. Was Picasso the perfectionist prodigy, the heartbroken painter of the Blue Period, the revolutionary who gave us Cubism? He was all of them. He never stopped changing. So who was the real Picasso? Maybe the answer is there isn't one. Maybe the real Picasso wasn't a person or a style, but the constant, brilliant act of becoming something new.